Donald Trump has appointed some more people on his staff or administration, whichever word you want to choose. Stephen Miller being one of them, who has used the same verbiage of an Adolf Hitler. Stephen Miller is just an awful, awful, racist, bigoted human being. Somebody else that I would put in that category is Tom Homan, who is going to be Donald Trump's border czar. I want you to listen to this exchange that Tom Homan had a few years back with AOC. Now, some people on the far right love this. They love this clip. But I think if you're a normal human being that doesn't wear the Donald Trump knee pads, this would be a very alarming exchange. Have a listen.
3 different options presented. The third included the option for family separation. This initiative would pursue prosecution of all amenable adults, including those presenting with a family unit. Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay. Mr. Chair, the memo is...
This is the guy who is going to be in charge to be the border czar. This is how stupid this man is. Let me explain to you what I am talking about. Let's assume, because he tried to compare those many people that are in this country undocumented, many of them are not violent criminals. Many of them are seeking asylum, wanting a better life for themselves and their families and their children for generations to come. He just compared some of those people to somebody who gets a DUI when it comes to family separation. So let me explain to some of you why this idiot is wrong. Now, let's just talk about a DUI for a moment. If you are charged or pulled over and you are arrested for driving under the influence, you don't hurt anybody, you don't kill anybody, you don't get into a car accident. In most cases, like a Justin Timberlake, for example, at the worst, you will be behind bars for maybe 6 to 8 hours. They'll wait until you sober up, and then you'll have a court date, and you are released back to your family. And this moron, Tom Homan, is trying to compare somebody who gets a DUI being separated from their family, in most cases, 6 to 8 hours, and then reunited to their family after, to someone who has been in this country for decades, undocumented, but pays their taxes, has children who were born here, and he wants to ship those people and deport them. Folks, is that a fair analogy that he's trying to make? Am I the dumb one here? He's trying to say, well, if you commit a crime and you DUI, you're separated from your family. We're not talking about a couple hours behind bars. We're talking about maybe for the rest of your life, children without a father. But this bastard, and that's what I'm going to call him, Tom Homan, he's a bastard. He's a bigot. I don't want violent criminals in this country, legal or not. If you come into this country illegally and you commit violent acts, I want one of two things to happen. I want you either locked up, deported, both. But I'm not talking about those people. Now, I think most Americans would agree. If you come into this country illegally, you're not paying your taxes, you commit a violent crime while you're here, you should be deported and or put in prison. That's not what AOC is talking about. That's not what I am talking about. That's not what most Americans are concerned about when we talk about Donald Trump's plan to deport 10 to 20 million people. We're talking about good, hardworking people that live in this country who have all sorts of different jobs. They might be cooks. They might be gardeners. They might mow your lawn. Whatever the case may be. A lot of people in this country that are undocumented that still pay taxes, that are good, hardworking people that just want a better life for their families, many of whom have kids that were born in this country. This guy is dangerous. And many others that Donald Trump will be putting in his administration are dangerous. This guy, Tom Homan, who is a bigot, who did an interview with I believe this was 60 Minutes, and he's pressed on this issue. Have a listen.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Absolutely ridiculous. Families can be deported together. So let's just say you have a family that was seeking asylum. Father, mother were worried for their children's safety. They were worried for their lives. And they needed to get into this country, and while it was illegal for them to do so, they've been here for decades. They've been fine members of society. They pay their taxes. They have children that were born here. And this guy's approach is, so what? If one person is going to be deported, if we don't want to separate families, they can all be deported. Is that what this country should be all about? Is that what we're about? And then he says the price of national security. And he has to know this statistic, and if you don't believe me, you can look it up yourself. You have a better chance of being the victim of a crime from someone who is a citizen of the United States of America than someone who is not. So the idea that our national security is at stake here, and the idea that all these terrorist plots are being planned in this country because of all these illegals that are flocking in, is absurd. And here's another little stat I'll give to you MAGA supporters out there that struggle to spell the word fact. From 2016 to 2017, when Trump was in office, those who crossed the border illegally, the numbers went up. Guess what? From 2017 to 2018, the numbers went up. From 2018 to 2019, the numbers went up. The only year that the numbers went down, back in 2020. Why? Because we were in a global pandemic and everything was shut down. The country was shut down. The world was shut down. So Donald Trump didn't solve any of the issues. He didn't shut down the border. He didn't make the situation any better. The numbers rose the first 3 years of his administration. And right now, if you talk about illegal border crossings, they are lower now than before Donald Trump left office. But let's not let facts get in the way of your feelings, right? Let's not let that happen at all. And not only is this guy a bigot and a racist and a fool, and this is going to cost the economy boatloads of money, but he also is a guy that has no respect for decorum in Congress. Have a listen to him getting into it when he was testifying under oath.
You were saying that. I wish somebody in Democratic leadership would say that out loud. Look, you want to know why there's 50,000 people in detention? You want to know why we have 1 million illegal entries in the United States? You want to know why we have these issues? Because you have failed to secure the border. You have failed to work with this president to close the 3 loopholes we've asked for 2 years to close. So if you want to know why this issue exists, you need to look in the mirror. You have failed American people for not securing the border and closing loopholes.
Mr. Homan,
Look,
please respect the chair and the authority of the chair. The time of the gentleman has expired.
I've asked you politely to let me go beyond my time, and you let other people go beyond their time, but not to Tom Homan. He don't get me go beyond his time.
Mr. Homan, we have approved
this is a
an
circus.
agreement
This is a circus.
between the Republicans and the Democrats with the ranking member. We increased the time of one member of Congress who was interrupted by a protest. That is done with the approval of the ranking member. Please respect the chair's authority. The
I respect the
gentlewoman-
chair's authority, but the chair...
Mr. Homan.
You work for
excuse
me. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a taxpayer. You work for me.
The witness will suspend.
This is a guy can't even show proper decorum and respect while testifying in front of Congress. Should we be surprised that he doesn't respect those hardworking people in this country, some of them undocumented, that are good people, that pay their taxes and have kids, some of whom were born here? Should we be surprised that he doesn't respect those people either? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the guy who Donald Trump appointed to be the border czar, along with a guy like a Stephen Miller, who is going to be on Donald Trump's staff, who uses the very similar verbiage of Adolf Hitler. And if you don't believe me and you think I'm making things up, at MSG just a few weeks ago, Stephen Miller said, "America is for Americans and Americans only." Back in 1934, Adolf Hitler said, "Germany is for Germans and Germans only." Ladies and gentlemen, that is not a coincidence. And he is implementing Project 2025 right before our eyes as we speak. Project 2025's proposals for reforming the country's immigration laws appear heavily influenced by those who helped execute Trump's early enforcement measures. Former acting U.S. Customs and Border Protection Chief Mark Morgan and former Immigration and Customs Enforcement Chief Tom Homan are the faces of Trump's polarizing policies. They contributed to Project 2025. These are the people that he's putting in place. These are the people that he's hiring. Project 2025 is being implemented right before our eyes. If you don't see it, you are complicit at a minimum. Or you don't want to see it because you don't care and you're a racist, like so many of these people in this country that say, "Make America great again." What they really mean is, "Make America white again." They don't want brown people in this country. Let me be very clear on how I feel on immigration. We have issues at the border. We have issues with people that overstay their visas. You'll never hear people talk about that because some of those people are not brown people. If you're in this country illegally and you commit a violent crime, I want you to go to jail. I don't want you to be in this country. We're not talking about those people. We are talking about hardworking people that pay their taxes, that have families here. You want those families separated? These are people that help the economy a great deal. Our economy is going to tank. You're going to deport 20 million people, many of those people who pay taxes. But you see, so many of you don't think like that. You don't think ahead. What is this going to do to our economy? And I'll give you an analogy of what I'm talking about, these dumb Republicans that don't think. They don't think ahead. Project 2025, they want to ban abortion across the country. It can very well happen. We didn't think Roe versus Wade was going to be overturned. It did. And then in 20 states in this country right now, abortion is illegal. In some of those states, no exceptions for rape or incest. Let me ask you all a question. There are hundreds of thousands of kids right now that are waiting to be adopted. Still, in most of the country, abortion is legal. If we ban abortion throughout the country, there's going to be millions of kids that are going to be waiting to be adopted. Who's going to be adopting all those kids? Republicans don't think. They don't think ahead with their bigoted, racist views. And I tell you right now, Stephen Miller, there's a reason why he uses the same verbiage of an Adolf Hitler. And I feel the same way about Tom Homan. He is a racist, bigoted fool. And these are the people, along with Stepanek, who was another moron. And it just started, ladies and gentlemen. The hires just started. They are going to implement, many of which is in Project 2025. They are already getting the ball rolling. And we have Elon Musk that has been seen at Mar-a-Lago for days now, whining and dining with Donald Trump. This country is in trouble. All I can do is point it out to all of you and wake some of you up. This country is in trouble.